Hello, my name is Xander from Terrytown. Welcome to your Colorado 19 BHC. I'm going to be starting this video off right up front here with your front power tongue jack. You do have a on and off switch for a little light underneath, just in case you do need to hook up at night. Up and down for your power tongue jack there. And then just in case this ever electrically goes out, you can manually override it by peeling up this little black tab here, inserting your tool, and you can go ahead and crank it up or down. For your propane tank, it's pretty nice and easy. All you do is left to open and right to close. There's not a whole lot else to it because this little regulator does all the work. Right here is going to be your battery. Moving along the side here, we are going to have your fresh water connection, or also known as your fresh tank. So all that is if you're going out to the middle of nowhere, for example, like a national park, and you're not going to have a city water connection, you can go ahead and fill this water tank up and take the water with you. So for example, like I mentioned before, a national park, usually they'll have like little spouts outside that you can go ahead and fill this up with, and then you go ahead and bring it in, and then you can use this water without having to worry about being plugged into city water connection. So basically, in conclusion, all this is just one big tank that you can go ahead and fill up and bring water with you. Right down there is going to be your city water connection. All it is just when you get to a campground, that's just going to be your main water source. You just go ahead, plug your campground hose into there, and that's going to shoot it through the lines. And like I said, that's going to be your main water source. Only time you're going to need to use a fresh tank is if you're out in the middle of nowhere or as a backup. So if you're not planning on going out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have to worry about that, and only focus on your city water connection there. Just underneath is going to be your fresh tank drain. So pretty self-explanatory. It just drains your fresh tank. So if you do have extra water afterwards, you can go ahead, twist that little nozzle, and go ahead and drain it out. This is going to be your power cord. All it does is just extend out of that little hole there, and to retract it, you just go ahead and feed it back through. Right here is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when your furnace is on, all the extra heat is going to be kicking out of here. So for like little kids, animals, stuff like that, just try and keep them away from that. When it's on, this right here is going to be your cable or satellite little input there. And just on here is going to be your sewer connection or your sewer system. So your gray tank is going to be on your left, and your black tank is going to be to the right. They are color coordinated. Your gray tank is going to be for your showers and sinks and stuff like that, and then your black tank is going to be for your toilet. So that's how you empty them. So of course your gray tank is going to fill with all of your sink and shower water, and your black tank is going to fill with all of your sewage. So that's why you do have to empty them. So that's why they give you the little handles there. All you do is just go ahead, grab them and pull, and then of course it's going to open and drain out. Same goes for your black tank. Go ahead, pull. But I do recommend doing the black tank first, just because it is the dirtiest water out of the two. So when you do the little gray tank last, it just kind of helps flush out, any toilet paper or anything like that got stuck in the sewer hose. Kind of gives it one last little flush before you go ahead and put your hands back on there. Just to the right here is going to be your hot and cold lines for they're called your low point drains. But the two lowest points in your hot and cold lines. So when it is time to put it away for the winter and you need all of your lines dried out and there's no water left in them, just go ahead, unscrew the caps, and then they will then drain out there. Well, that's that. But moving to your water heater here, this is going to be your anode rod. This is going to be the most important part for your tank, because the reason why this looks all beat up is because this takes the beating takes the beating instead of your camper from all the hard water. So basically, when this goes inside here, all the hard water will attack that rather than your tank to then preserve your tank. And that's why you don't need to worry about replacing anything with your tank, just the anode rod. So that should be a 1 1/16 socket. All you gotta do is tighten that down. Try to get it as tight as you can get it. Once that's nice and tight, go to the inside of your camper and turn on the hot side of your faucet. It's going to sputter for a little bit. That's just all the air getting completely pushed out. So once you've steady flow of water and your anode rod is completely in, then go ahead and you can turn this on. So to turn it off or to take this out and drain your water, go ahead and pull the pressure release valve here. It's going to hiss. Once it's done hissing, go ahead, take your anode rod out, and all your water is just going to drain right out of that hole there. This is always the fun part, trying to line this up. There we go. From here, it's just going to be your fridge and your little grill here. The only thing for this that you're really going to need to pay attention to is when you pop this open here and you bring this out. This is going to have a LP hose connected to it. If I can see underneath here, so you can kind of see it right there, that little black hose. That black hose connects right into there. That's going to be your LP quick connect. So that's where your propane is going to come out, and of course out the tube and into your little grill, or the top, stove top, if you will call it that. But that's just how you get your propane to it. Of course, always make sure that that is plugged in before use. Then moving on, you have one right here in the back and one in the front. These are going to be your switches for your, what do you call it, your power stabilizer jacks. So you just hold down, it's going to drop. Sometimes one will drop before the other, not always, but just know that that is fine. So as soon as you feel that pressure, go ahead and let go, because they aren't made to lift your trailer up, they're just meant to stabilize. So as soon as you feel that pressure, go ahead and let go. And then the last few things for the outside. Right here is going to be your 110 outlets, so you can have power outside. And this is going to be all of your hitch work, which your salesperson will go over with you. And then this right here, you're going to have your 25-foot drinking hose, a 110 adapter, just in case you do need to plug your unit into your house. And then over there is going to be your sewer hose, which I do recommend getting a better one. That's just a personal recommendation, but I do highly recommend it. And then moving inside, this is going to be your main power panel here. So all of your readers, so for your battery, fresh tank, black tank, and your gray, it just tells you how full they're getting, so you know when to empty them. You're gonna have your water heater right here. You just flick it on, and of course your water pump. Only time you're gonna need to, only time you're ever going to need to use that is for your fresh tank. And then your exterior lights, which are just gonna be your little awning lights there. Otherwise, I'm gonna reel this awning in and out for you. Oh, forgot to open the door all the way. Right here, extend. The two main things you are going to want to look for is the awning flap that kind of comes down. All it is just the end of the awning, but just look for that. And then the black bar the awning is wrapped up on underneath. So the flap isn't coming down just because it's wet right now. There it is. The flap and then the black bar. As soon as you see that, go ahead and let go. You do not want to keep reeling out because it will actually reel in the opposite way. And that's your awning. And then moving over to your lights. For most of them, you just click to tap on, or sorry, tap to turn on, and then so you can kind of section them off however you'd like. Otherwise, moving to your little AC vent here. Of course, you're gonna have all of your cool settings here and fan settings here, and of course, temperature as well right here. What most people do is they'll open their vents when they first get to a campground, just because it seems, their camper's gonna be nice and warm. They want to make sure it's cool, so they'll open these up, and it's just a dump to kind of get air moving and to pretty much just kind of cool it down. Otherwise, once it starts to cool down, they'll close it like this, and then because it is ducted, it isn't going to start flowing throughout your camper. Or by flowing throughout, I mean out these little vents here. So you'll have to open these up and kind of point them in the right direction to kind of get air flowing. Otherwise, moving over to your radio. So volume, pretty self-explanatory. You have radio station switches, you're gonna have your mute button, and then for like not much there. There we go, that's what I was trying to do. So you have to hold it down, and then when you tap through, you can select the equalizer. And then you can go between your balance, fade, bass, all that stuff. And of course, you can set radio stations. And then you also have a little USB port there, just in case you do need to plug anything else in. So right there, you just flip it. Otherwise, you just hold, it says goodbye, and it turns off. For your bathroom, let me get a light on in here. I'll turn one on just outside too. So for your bathroom, there's gonna be three main things. It's all gonna be about your toilet. One, it's a foot flush, so you just press down with your foot, it's going to flush. And then the two other things, you're going to need RV grade toilet paper and toilet solution. The toilet paper is going to help kind of break down easier, just make sure everything flushes easier. And then the last thing you need is, of course, your toilet solution. That's just going to help kind of break down solids and smells. So once again, just kind of makes everything flow nice and easy, so you don't have to worry about, you know, chunks or clogging, anything like that. Just makes your black tank flush a lot easier. Moving to the outside here, this is going to be for your furnace. So once your gas is on, you just click, excuse me, you just click this over, and it's going to kick on your furnace. And you move it from left to right to obviously cooler to the left, warmer to the right. So you kind of choose that gauge. And then right here is going to be your temperature, so it's going to rise here. And then of course you just kind of keep it wherever you would like the temperature to be. For your refrigerator here, tap to hold on. You'd have your fridge and your freezer right there. So you just choose between the two, and of course go ahead and select your temperature with the plus and minus arrows. This last one here, all that does, it's just like a nighttime mode or a quiet mode for your refrigerator. So basically, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, or well, I shouldn't say that, I should say when you're traveling, or you're gonna be gone for like a weekend or something like that, basically that is just going to kind of keep your refrigerator on low power, just so it's not gonna be as big of a draw on your battery. And then got your microwave here, pretty self-explanatory. Down here, also pretty self-explanatory for your burner, so you just press in, turn to let the gas release, and you will have to light it with a lighter. These two down here, the one on the left, the big black box, is going to be your breakers and your fuses. And then these small little black box on your right is going to be your carbon monoxide detector. Your carbon monoxide detector is always going to be running just as a safety feature. So the only unfortunate part with that is that it's going to always draw off of your battery. So if you're going to be leaving your camper for 3 to 4 days or something along the lines of that, I do highly recommend just taking the negative end off of your battery, so then that little green light doesn't end up drawing your battery dead, basically. Last but not least, I'm just going to talk about your little TV mount bracket location here. Of course, you can put it there, and you're just going to have your little 110 power outlets, and then your input. If you look closely, you have this little button here, and there's a little green light. That's going to switch between antenna and cable if you do, if you are plugged in. And then that is pretty much it. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to write them down and take them in for your pickup, or go ahead and just email me back and I can help answer those for you. Other than that, congratulations, and I hope you enjoy.